Stories are an anchor. Read it again, the child says to her dad in bed as he sighs with both exhaustion and affection before starting over for the third time. Maybe it's subconscious, but we embed stories into our minds from a young age. Maybe we need them as anchors to help us make sense of the world. Without them, we'd be unmoored, floating through existence, nothing to hold on to. And maybe it's also why I've loved stories for as long as I can remember. Comic books, video games, movies, TV, novels, Bible stories, sports, record holders, comebacks, underdogs. This past weekend, I went to Comic-Con in New York City because apparently I still haven't outgrown the stories and the worlds and all those anchors. Now, stories that run in our lives aren't just the ones we read, watch, or have been told. They are the ones that we tell ourselves, the meaning we assigned to events and the interpretations we made when we were too unaware or too hurt or too confused to see things clearly. And those stories run deep. When you do enough inner work to look at the past with less subjectivity, you give yourself the gift of the bigger perspective. But how do you do that? What do you do when it's time to let go of some of those stories? It can feel like you're trying to uproot an oak tree with your bare hands. You'll exhaust yourself and the tree will still be left standing. So rather than trying to pull them out, I've experienced a more expansive way to do this. And I will, of course, share a story to help illustrate this. When I was going through the middle of a divorce back in 2018, I was invited to speak at a conference near Disney World hosted by Terry Weaver. I told Terry I would need time to think about it because the last time I was at Disney was with my ex-wife right before we got married. The memories were a lot to deal with. And Terry said something I will never forget. He said, sometimes the best way to delete a file is to save over it. Sold. I accepted the invite, and my good friend Jeff Goins was also speaking at the event, so I ended up making a lot of fun memories there. Now, not every story you rewrite requires speaking engagements, Disney trips, or travel. Most are small things that can often take you by surprise. When you go through seismic events like a divorce, you have to learn to do a lot of things alone again. For me, going grocery shopping alone was the worst. I didn't really cook at home for 3 years, and it was the last story that I had to rewrite. And if you're in that place now for whatever reason, just know that I see you and that you're going to make it, all right? Now, sometimes rewriting is just the start. For some of us, letting go of our stories only comes through transmuting those stories into something of material consequence. I think it's because these things can serve as memorial stones in your life. It's a way of crafting those emotions and turning them into something tangible that you and the world, if you choose to share it with the world, can see to make everything that you've gone through matter in a more real, material way. Some travel to far off places, some go skydiving, some climb a mountain, some draw, paint, or sing. And for me, it's been writing, and that's surprising because I pretty much hated every moment of writing my first solo book. I signed a publishing deal 3 years earlier, but I got sidetracked by the divorce. So when I finally sat down to write, my skills had gone soft from years of only writing marketing copy. That's not the best way to become a better writer. But more than that, the book was a symbol of something I should have had years earlier if it wasn't for this catastrophe, for the divorce. So there's a lot of emotion attached to it. Now, there's no magic pill when it comes to rewriting stories in your life or writing a book. You just have to keep pushing forward. Sometimes things come easily. Other times you want to throw your laptop or your life against the wall. And there were many days I said to myself, I will be damned if I let these hardships keep me from being my best. And you're going to have to say that often to yourself as well. Eventually, all of us have to come to terms with that decision. Now, when my book hit the Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller list, I mailed a copy of it to my ex with a short note thanking her for being part of the journey I had to live in order to write that book. We ended things amicably, so I actually really meant it. And I will admit there was a tiny part of me that was saying, how you like me now? But two things can be true at the same time. And again, with distance and with time and with healing, you can hold a lot of competing or what seem to be very competing narratives. Now, these days I write more about these rebirths I've experienced. The pain's gone, the scars have healed. In many cases, the relationships are mended. The final episodes of those TV shows of my life have aired, and so now I get to share them, hoping they will help anyone who's in the middle of their story. This past week, I shared how proud I was of my clients. Many are writing books, and several have published books earlier this year. One person told me, the content of this book is the reason I came to this world. Isn't that so cool? So, what's trying to claw its way out? It often takes another person to see the embryonic work that is trying to sprout in you. Back again in 2018, gosh, a lot happened that year. I hosted a small conference in Austin, Texas, and I invited my friend Kevin to speak because we wanted to use the opportunity to get video footage of himself for his speaking career. And he sent me his slides beforehand so we could work on the talk together. And after I looked through them, I shared some feedback. I said, look, Kevin, I love you, but I don't know you any better after reading these slides. I could have a robot deliver this talk. How about we follow a rule? No quoting dead people, no one else's stories, just yours. Those people are not here at the event. You are. And this simple shift transformed Kevin's speech, and he delivered the closing keynote of the event to a spontaneous and very well-earned standing ovation. When we went to our post-conference dinner and karaoke hangout, he asked several of the other speakers, I noticed that you guys quoted dead people in your speeches. Didn't Mike say that you couldn't do that? And they looked confused. Mike didn't say that to us. And Kevin laughed. He took it well. And I shared that recommendation only with him because he had a tendency to hide behind other people's voices too much. Now, Kevin isn't alone, of course. I've come across many people, myself included, who have become so used to quoting others and leaning on frameworks they didn't create or stories that others wrote for them to the point that they have lost their voice. They're like Simba trying to roar for the first time. So here's a quick clue. If it makes you feel something, whatever you're writing, sharing, creating, whether it's fear, nostalgia, pride, terror, anything, you're probably moving in the right direction. I often tell my clients, if you feel something when writing it, there's a chance your reader will feel it too. Now, honestly, it takes emotion for me to write about some of the things that I share nowadays. Even though those things have healed and there's been a lot of resolution, it still feels emotional. And I wonder a lot if I am committing professional suicide and if I should just stick to branding and marketing like I have for the past 10 years. But then I remember emotion is just energy in motion. And that energy is trying to tell us all something. So I want to encourage you, start with what is trying to claw its way out of you. You overwrite the file by living new experiences in the same spaces, turning that pain into something useful. And if you feel pulled to create something from your experiences, something of material consequence, don't ignore it. For some people, the only way to stop rereading their last chapter is to create their way out of it, to write, sing, and travel their way out of it. So I want to encourage you to pay attention to that. Now, watching my clients birth their books this year has been one of the most meaningful parts of my work. It's been a nice surprise. And so I want to invite you, if you're ready to turn your experiences into something tangible, you're feeling that pull. I am hosting an accelerator this fall to help you ideate, write, and market your book. We've had a good turnout of people saying, hey, I'm interested, send me more information. So if that's you, just go to mikekim.com/write your book. It's a waiting list, doesn't obligate you to anything. Just get on that list and I'll communicate with you directly once I get some dates, times, ideas out of my head. But if that's you, just go to that link. If you're listening on the podcast, it's in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, just scroll into the description for this episode and that link will be there, mikekim.com/write your book. And let's make all this stuff that we've been through count. Now, if you're watching on YouTube and this video helps you in any way or any of the other videos that I've shared here, it would mean a ton to me if you would like the video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me get word out about what I'm sharing here. And it would mean a lot to me. I'm in this new creative venture and just trying to keep showing up and share these stories and embody what I've been trying to teach people. And it's been fun. It's been hard. It's been rewarding. And it has been very, very fulfilling. So that would mean a lot to me if you would help me out. And I will see you back here on the next episode and hope to see you in the Write Your Book Accelerator. All right. Talk soon.